Hello world, Jay Sherm here. Today I'm going to talk about the hottest topic lately, which is Bitcoin. It's a cryptocurrency that is soaring very high. As you can see, if you check online, you'll see it's around $52,000 as of this episode, and it just doesn't seem like it's slowing down. A lot of people are asking me, Jason, should I be buying Bitcoin? And I say, well, it's always worth having some, but you want to be careful because just a couple months ago, it was only $25,000. It has doubled in just a couple months. And I want to give you guys a couple of reasons, not only why it's been getting so valuable, but some people ask me, like, what the heck is it in the first place? Well, the easiest way to tell you what Bitcoin is, and I've done this in other episodes as well, it's a digital currency. It is something that is transactional. So you can see the public ledger, which is like a database or a spreadsheet that shows you the transactions that people make, whether it's buying, selling, trading, sending Bitcoin from one person to another through a wallet. So it's really just money. You can pay for things with it. You can send it to your bank account. You can buy some on PayPal. Think of it like kind of almost like credit card payments. You're using these virtual numbers, virtual credit numbers. But besides the fact that you can do a search online and figure out what Bitcoin is, why is it $52,000 today? And where is it headed? Which is what a lot of other people ask me. One of the first reasons why Bitcoin started to really jump, if you look online and you do a search for Bitcoin news, you'll see that these investment companies, Grayscale and a lot of other big companies, Square, and these investment hedge funds. Saylor is a big one. Michael Saylor of MicroStrategy, he's the CEO. They've been pumping in hundreds of millions of dollars of money into Bitcoin, which is causing the price to really go up a lot. And not only that, but Elon Musk has been tweeting about Dogecoin and Bitcoin on his Twitter for months, which is causing a hysteria of people to not only make memes about Dogecoin and buy Dogecoin on a million exchanges, but it's causing it to surge to ridiculous prices. I mean, Dogecoin was always less than a penny for years. And all of a sudden it went to like 6, 7, 8 cents. It was insane how quickly it went up. And of course, a lot of people FOMO'd, or fear of missing out, jumped into Dogecoin to try to capitalize on the gains, kind of like the Wall Street bets people did with the GameStop stock. Of course, cryptocurrency is much different. It's not regulated, so it's very volatile. And as quickly as Dogecoin went up, it also went down, although it has stabilized. It's been somewhere around the 100 Satoshi range for a while now, which means people are not selling. They're holding onto their coins and hoping for another liftoff. Now, Bitcoin is another story. Bitcoin is the first cryptocurrency out of maybe 1,000 that's available out there. And just a couple years ago, it was only a couple $1,000s, in 2017 and 18, when there was that first kind of market hype of cryptocurrency and everybody jumped in and then lost a lot of money in 2018 when it crashed. As you saw in 2019, it started to recover, and in 2020, it also recovered, and now it's just flying. So let's talk about the investment companies that have been pumping in hundreds of billions in dollars, including Elon Musk, who recently spent $1.5 billion worth of Tesla to purchase Bitcoin. Now that's a huge investment. And when that happened, when the news broke that the SEC filing was live, Bitcoin went from $38,000 to $45,000 overnight. It liquidated hundreds of billions of dollars of shorts. People who were betting against Bitcoin going up, they were saying it was going to go down, so they shorted it on the market. Margin trading is very hard to do, and I always advise people not to do it. It's very risky. I always tell people to just buy some Bitcoin and, use a Coinbase account, sign up for Coinbase, get a wallet. It's really easy to do. Buy some Bitcoin. You don't have to buy a lot. You can buy $100 worth. You could buy $500 worth. Buy whatever you're comfortable with. And then guess what? Forget that you have it. Just leave it in there. Just forget that you own it. Years from now, it'll be worth so much more money. What I tell some of my friends who don't have investment accounts, they don't have retirement accounts, I say, look, why don't you start putting in a little bit of money every month into your Coinbase wallet for Bitcoin or Ethereum? It could be any coins that you like. Doesn't have to be a Bitcoin or Ethereum. It could be Litecoin. It could be Dogecoin. It could be any coin that you find that has a good value to it because it has a product attached to the coin. It has a company and a team of developers who are building some sort of platform. There's a lot of good ones out there. One of my favorites is SC Prime, or the coin is SCP, and it's a distributed cloud storage network. So it's one of my favorites. You'll hear me talk about it in a lot of my episodes. But so the point is treat it like an investment account. Put in maybe $100 a week or $200 a month or whatever you can afford to lose. Leave it in Coinbase, buy Bitcoin, and maybe 5 years from now or 10 years from now, you might have thousands of dollars. Let's say you buy a whole Bitcoin for $50,000. I'm not advising it. It's not financial advice. Definitely don't do that unless you can throw away $50,000. If it, for some reason, goes all the way down to $10,000 tomorrow and you lose $40,000, which could happen. You never know, right? Bitcoin's very volatile. And that's actually something I want to mention. You really never know where it's going to go. Tomorrow it could be at $5,000. Tomorrow it could be at $100,000. It's really hard to predict. So anybody who tells you where it's going, they're just predicting. They're just guessing. They're not really giving you a real number. So back to my point. Let's say you buy a Bitcoin for $52,000 today. That's what it's worth today. And you forget about it. You know, it's in your Coinbase wallet. You know you have it, but you don't look at the price every day. You don't look at the news anymore. You stop looking at it. 10 years from now, let's just say Bitcoin is now at $1 million a coin, which is possible in the future. You never know. Nobody can predict, right? You just made $1 million off a $50,000 investment. Let's say it goes to $300,000 in 5 years. You made $250,000. So think of it as an investment. Don't think of it as a way to make money quick. It's not a get-rich-quick scheme. Cryptocurrency is not to get rich quickly. It is an investment. It's a way to earn money over time. And in case you haven't already heard, XRP, or Ripple, is in the middle of a lawsuit with the SEC regarding their coin and having some issues. And so, as you can see, XRP, or Ripple, has gone down in value a lot because of this SEC filing, the lawsuit. So again, cryptocurrency is very volatile and risky to invest in. So you do want to be careful which coins you invest in, because you never know what's going to happen with it. But one thing is for sure, a lot of companies, portfolios, hedge funds, investment companies, they are predicting a huge price target. Motley Fool is adding Bitcoin to its portfolio. Their target, $500,000. I mean, when you see these price targets of $400,000, $500,000, and so on, it makes you wonder, well, why is that? Why are these price targets so high? There's a reason behind it. The first thing is Bitcoin, you can only make 21 million of them, and there have already been 18.5 roughly million of them already made from mining machines, computers basically. So what does this mean? It means that there's a cap. There is a limit as to how many Bitcoin can exist, and they're almost all in existence. The other thing is, over the past decade or so since Bitcoin was invented, people have lost their hard drives with Bitcoin on them. People have forgotten their passwords to their wallets, and people have sent Bitcoin to the wrong addresses. And the point is, millions of Bitcoin have been lost forever. You're not going to be able to ever get them back again. And that's a huge thing, because there's not really 18.5 million in existence, is there? There's more like, what I think the estimation is, around 13 million of them in existence. That's not that many. Imagine if 13 million people in the world each owned one Bitcoin, or 26 million people owned half a Bitcoin, or 50 plus million owned a quarter Bitcoin. There are 7 billion people on the planet. So that's not a lot of Bitcoin. It's very little. And that's why it's so valuable, because there's only a certain amount of them in existence. Unlike gold and diamonds and all sorts of other precious metals and gems, you can keep finding them or making them. So that's why the value of them has been, historically low compared to Bitcoin, because there's a cap. Now, when Tesla bought the $1.5 billion in Bitcoin, I mean, yes, that caused a rally in the market. But Elon Musk also said that Tesla will be accepting Bitcoin as payment for cars. And that's really why the price soared, because now people are thinking to themselves, well, wait a minute, I can actually buy Bitcoin and then buy a car with it. So 2 things happened. First, let's say you bought Bitcoin the day before the news at $38,000. The next day the news comes out. Bitcoin's at $45,000. You just earned $7,000 on your Bitcoin or whatever amount you purchased. Let's say when Tesla begins accepting Bitcoin as a payment, I'm going to throw a number out there. It's $75,000 per Bitcoin. You have a Bitcoin that you paid $38,000 for. It's worth double that. You can spend half a Bitcoin to pay for a Tesla at say 40 grand or whatever it costs and still have half a Bitcoin left over. You just earned free money basically because you invested before the news. Let's say you invested after the news and you invested at 45,000. Still, let's say Bitcoin's at 75,000 when Tesla begins accepting the payments. You still have basically a free car because you can pay for it. Now, here's the other side of the fence, right? Let's say that you buy a Tesla for 40 grand worth of Bitcoin, but in 10 years, Bitcoin is worth $1 million a piece. Well, now you really paid $400,000 for the car. Remember, a long time ago, a guy paid 10,000 Bitcoin to get a pizza delivered to his house from Papa John's as an experiment. And that pizza today is worth hundreds of millions of dollars. So that guy, he really paid a lot of money for a pizza, basically. I can't even imagine spending that much money on pizza, let alone a car or a house or anything. Hundreds of millions of dollars for anything is just mind-boggling. So this poor guy, Laszlo Hanyecz, back in May 22nd, 2010, made history. But that was also a moment of mourning for this poor guy because he spent 400 million or 500, 600, 700, whatever amounts of hundreds of millions of dollars worth of Bitcoin because he wanted to try an experiment. But that makes us all wonder, where is Bitcoin headed in the next 10 years? People, again, predict 100,000 to 500,000 to $1 million. We don't know. So all you can do is invest wisely, do your research, read a lot online, figure out exactly what companies you want to invest in. Don't spend more than you can lose. None of this was financial advice. It's pure opinion. I hope you're careful. I hope you invest. I hope you do a good job of learning more about cryptocurrency and Bitcoin in particular. Happy holding, and I'll see you in next week's episode.